That was a clip of Pastor Michael Shover preaching to a crowd of pro-abortion protesters at the Iowa Capitol in Des Moines on July the 11th. Shortly after this event, an edited clip went viral on TikTok accusing Pastor Shover of supporting pedophilia. So we're going to talk to him today and get his story about what happened on that day at the Capitol building. Welcome to the Kuyperian Commentary Podcast. On this episode, we have Reverend Michael Shover from Pella, Iowa. He's a CREC pastor, and we want to talk to him about something that happened a couple weeks ago in Des Moines at the Capitol building. I meant to interview Michael on the 17th, but I woke up with bronchitis, and that didn't happen. So we're a little bit late getting this out there, but I think it's still good to get Michael's version of the story. First of all, Michael, Iowa just passed a 6-week heartbeat law. That is pretty awesome. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes. So thanks for having me on Kuyperian Commentary. Yeah. So 5 years ago, the governor, Kim Reynolds of Iowa, had and the legislature had passed the similar bill. It was immediately, thrown into the courts as being unconstitutional, and so then it went back to being back to the 20-week time limit there, 20 weeks pregnancy. So after Roe v. Wade has just been overturned last year, the governor brought it back into a special session, and it was passed by both House and Senate. And of course, the left already had their motion to challenge it in the court again, and so it is being challenged again in the courts right now. And I'm hoping that it will be overturned, and that the courts will fail, and that it'll become law. Which, this might just reflect some of my political ignorance. I just don't understand how you can have one branch of the government that can override the other two branches. So I guess I just, if I was the governor, I would say, oh, the judicial branch has said that my law is unconstitutional. Great story. It's law anyway. And then I would, but I don't. Maybe that just shows my political ignorance. So now it's kind of up in the air. So that's, but
Yeah, well, if their reason for saying it was unconstitutional was Roe v. Wade, that would seem to be, I don't know the details, but I'm guessing that's what they used. They can't use that anymore. So
right.
Unless there's something in the Iowa Constitution that they can latch onto, I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not certain either. I haven't honestly followed the whole thing in depth. I will say that one of the neat things that I heard was one of the gentlemen who attends my church. He's a state trooper, and he got called to the Capitol building that day, and he was there into the night when the bill got sent into Senate. And he was saying that some of the argumentation against the bill was that it's going to be a slippery slope. What's gonna stop what's going to stop the Republicans from going further, from making it abortion illegal from the moment of conception? And then, gasp, horror. And then what's gonna stop them from stopping, from making in vitro fertilization, and it's like, yes, that's it. The Chad meme right there. You stick that in, right? Yes, right. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah. And I don't think we should even hide that. I think for years Christians, especially in politics, have sort of danced around that sort of thing. And oh, no, we want protection for babies, and they have these lines they draw, and then, well, aren't you going to go ahead and just try to ban abortion altogether? Aren't you going to go ahead and try to take away gay marriage? Oh, well, that's not what we're thinking. And I think it's good to just be upfront and say, well, that is our end game. This is our goal, and this is where we're going. Cards on the table. You should know this. So
that's right.
So that was happening at the Capitol. What brought you there that day? Was it a group from your church? Was it you alone? What was going on?
Yeah, no. One of my elders at church, he Him and his family have been very active in the pro-life. They frequently stand outside of Planned Parenthood and pray and, to protest in a very, in a quiet and respectful way. But they've been involved in that for a long time, and they sent out an email and said, "Hey, we're going to the Capitol building. Anybody want to come?" And so I went. And when so it was just me and another family, um, a husband and wife. Actually, they have 11 children, uh, but they only brought their littlest one with them. Um, and so it was just us. They because they got there earlier than I did. They were inside of the House of Representatives as things were being debated on the floor and whatnot. So they were in there. They didn't see all the chaos that I had created in the rotunda. And then I was there. I also saw Pastor Ray Simmons, who is a pastor down in Southwest Iowa. He just wrote a book called The Confessional County. I think I think they're a part of the CPC denomination,
Yeah.
Covenant Presbyterian Church. And so they're a sister, I would say a sister denomination, very similar to us in many ways. And so it was great to have him there too. And he brought people from his family and his church there as well.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what went down, because I've seen the clip, and the clip starts in the middle of a shouting match.
Yeah.
What was going on prior to that? How did that come to be?
Sure. So when I showed up there, I had been there maybe about 5 minutes. I looked around. I saw Ray standing next to me, and I had to explain who I was because I just shaved my beard. I normally have this big old beard, and I just shaved it off. And he looked at me and said, "Who are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm Mike Shover." He said, "Oh, you look so different." And like, yeah, I have to go through that conversation every time I talk to somebody now. And so they're all screaming and ringing bells and having their 5, 6, 7, 8. We want to make abortion great, or whatever it is that they were chanting, and
Having their worship service, right?
right, having their worship service, right? That that's exactly right. And there was kind of a lull in the chaos, and I just found myself shouting, "Stop murdering babies!" And it resounded throughout the whole rotunda. Everybody like got real quiet. They all turned around, did an about face, and stared at me. And I just shouted out again, "Stop murdering babies!" And then they just, the demons let loose. They all just gathered around me. And from there, I just began preaching, for them to, believe in Jesus, stop murdering babies, embrace life, stop hating themselves, stop hating children, and all sorts of things. So that had been going on probably for about a minute. And the clip then picks up kind of towards the end there. I guess there's two clips. There's the shortened clip, which made me go viral, which the person cut off my explanation of what I was trying to get at, and they just made it seem like as if by asking the question, "What's wrong with pedophilia?" that I am in support of it, which I'm not. And but the whole time while I was preaching, they were all yelling at me, calling me a pedophile. It was like a united effort almost. It's either they had like that's their tagline, right? That's the thing that they agreed upon. Hey, if any priests show up or pastors and they start protesting against us, we'll just call them pedophiles. Everybody agreed? Okay, good. Break, right? That was they said in the huddle beforehand or something. I don't know. But that was kind of it, man. They started coming at me right away with that. And then so then and then you can see in another scene where the woman who I think she has a shirt that says pardon my language, "Bitches get things done" is what her shirt says. And I've heard from other people that she causes problems all over the country. I don't think she's from Iowa. I think I could be wrong, but I have heard that she's actually probably from California, and she goes to all of these events and films herself doing these things in
Yeah.
order to create problems. But she said, don't touch me, I'll lock your pedophile ass up. And I just said, I'm not a pedophile, but what is wrong with pedophilia, right? They've been calling me a pedophile for the last minute. And so it's like, well, what's wrong with pedophilia in the first place? And I was trying to do the Van Tillian thing on them, and and show how on the one hand they want to kill and murder children, but then on the other hand they're calling me a pedophile as though they actually cared about children and that they wanted to
Right.
protect them. And so I was trying to show them their inconsistency there, and that's kind of what my tactic was that kind of got me infamous here.
Did we see the failure of presuppositionalism there? Was that the
Yeah, I don't know if it was the failure of presuppositionalism. Rather, I think might have been just the failure
Yeah.
of people being able to understand a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Um, so
Well, one thing I've even seen about that kind of argument is you really are expecting of the person you're talking to that they care
right,
about being
right,
a reasonable human being. I remember
right,
talking about one guy about abortion one time, and even had him, pinned down to where he admitted, yes, because he was a Christian who was pro-abortion, and he said,
yeah,
yes, you've convinced me that abortion does kill an innocent person. And I was like, and so therefore it's murder because killing innocent people is murder. He's like, well, I can't,
I
I
wouldn't
can't
go,
say that. I can't
can't
say
go
that. I
that
was like,
far.
well, you're logically required to, if you agree that killing innocent people is murder and abortion kills an innocent person, it's murder. He's like, well, logic doesn't matter in real life. That was his,
Right,
once you hit that wall and they're like, I am
right.
not going to be a reasonable human being anymore.
That's right.
And those people were definitely not not responding the way reasonable human beings respond. So
Right. Well, you're absolutely correct. Reason has gone out the window.
mhm.
It's gone. It's way down the road now, right? We've left that thing, miles and miles and miles back, and we are on this trajectory down this hill, and damned be if logic's going to stop us to reaching
Yeah,
the end of that hill, the bottom of that cavern. We're going to crash this thing all the way to the
right.
ground, and no logic's going to stop us. So that's kind of where we're at,
Right.
expect it, expect people to
Mhm.
not actually care about logical consistency,
Mhm.
um, expect people to not care about truth, right?
Right.
People, they want to obey the lust of their flesh. They want to, just do whatever they want to do, and they want other people to approve them doing it. And if you don't approve of it, if you don't celebrate it, then you are going to be, maligned, slandered, vilified, right? All sorts of horrible things like what was done to me, right? People are going to lie about you because, I mean, if people don't care about logic, then that means they don't care about truth. And if they don't care about truth, then they don't care about your reputation. They don't care about telling the truth. They don't.
Right.
They have no problems spinning a story and creating a false narrative. They don't care about those things. Let's just ruin this guy's life and then we'll move on to the next person and destroy them too. We don't care. It's all about power or
Right.
whatever it is that they think that they are trying to accomplish.
Right. And even where they cut your clip off, if you watch the whole clip, it's really clear that's not what you were saying, that pedophilia is
Right,
great. What's wrong with it?
right,
Um, and even the lady that made it go viral, she's on Twitter. She got so many responses from people correcting her and explaining. And it seemed to me that it was clear at least she understood and didn't care.
and didn't
And
care.
to her
Right.
point, it's like, it doesn't matter what he really meant. I got the sound bite and we're going to make this go viral and we're going to get
That's right.
him because
That's right.
you're a bad person because you don't like
That's
abortion. So,
that's right. That's right. I'm a horrible human being because I don't want to murder babies and I want to protect people from murdering babies. Yep, I'm the worst form of human on planet Earth. That's I don't know. I just don't know what to do. It's like it's times like this where like, yeah, there are just straight categories of good and
right.
evil, and people are have been consumed by evil. And when on the one hand they pretend that they want to protect children, right, from pedophile priests, yes, but the other hand they're just like, no, but we actually want to sacrifice them to our, you know to Moloch. um they don't care. um so it's quite the situation we're living in right now.
Right. So what sort of fallout did you get from that? Because that was, big on the internet when it happened. It was like a flash in the pan. I mean, no one's
Yeah,
talking about it now.
right.
Any immediate fallout for you and your church?
Well, not really. We've had, emails and phone calls, people calling me a pedophile, and you're going to lose your job, and we're going to come and protest, and you need to just go and kill yourself. And I even like some of the some people have even revealed themselves to be conservative Christians in these emails and phone calls,
Wow.
and so it's like, well, if you were, like, you, you might want to consider, what the Bible says about, um be not a talebearer, right? Don't be a slanderer of the brethren, right? Don't go around telling false tales about people in the land, right? You might care about not bearing false witness if you were actually a conservative Christian and you cared about the moral law of God. But I think, just the rage that people have these days, and how Twitter mobs are able to accomplish this, even in God's people, is something to behold. Um, and so we need to be very careful about that. One of the things, Rick, that I've been thinking about is how these people who can go around and do these sorts of things, who can just drum up fake accusations, false accusations, ruin a person's reputation, defame them, and then move on to the next thing, and nothing ever happens to these people, right? It would cost me probably a whole lot of money, unless I could get some you know lawyer to do this pro bono, and it would take a lot of time, energy, in order for me to create a, a defamation lawsuit against these people. And I
Right.
think somebody should. I don't know if I'm going to be the guy to do it, but on the one hand, I think somebody needs to, stand up to these people to get them to stop, like, to understand, like, you can't just do these things without any consequences. In the Old Testament, there was a law that said that if you accuse somebody of a crime, and it was brought to court, and it was found that they were actually innocent, then the person who made the accusation would receive the punishment that the accused would have if they were found guilty.
Right.
Right. So, like, I think we need to bring that back.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know? Um, so,
Or even
again,
if you want to bring it down to the civil realm in our court system today, go to a loser pay system where whoever
okay, I don't know
loses
what that is.
pays all the court costs.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you
there you
if
go.
you accuse someone, you take them to court, you lose, you pay their lawyer's fee and your lawyer's fee together,
Yeah, yeah,
and then there's actually some penalty for false accusations, which there isn't right now. There's almost no
right,
penalty at all.
right.
Um, yeah. So, do you have anything after this experience, looking back on it, that if you go to another event like this, you expect a similar type thing to happen? Anything you would do differently? Anything that, knowing what you know now, you would say, well, here's what I'm taking into this situation, or here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and it might be tempting to think like, oh, well, that was such a horrible experience that maybe I just won't do it again. Maybe I'm afraid of going viral again. Maybe I'm afraid of all that. But actually, like, I found that was one of the most exciting experiences I've ever had in my entire life. I preach to Christians every Sunday, and we're Presbyterian, so we don't tend to get too rowdy.
Mm.
You know, uh, so just kind of being in the lion's den there, and preaching, it really did make me feel like, it was the book of Acts, right? I'm
Right.
like there with the apostle Paul, right? We're preaching, we're causing riots. It was a whole lot of fun. And so, I was talking to the cross politic guys the other day, and Toby Sumter was making that point too, that this is how the church grows, actually. You preach the word of God, and a big riot ensues, and you encourage the brethren, and so many people get saved. And so it's like, yeah, like, I think that if I have an opportunity again to do something like that, I think I might just do it again. And
Yeah.
maybe I might, change my tactic and not ask a rhetorical question to make me go viral. I don't know, or maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't when I went, I didn't know that I was going to do this.
Right.
I didn't plan it out beforehand. It was like the Spirit of God rushed upon
Mhm.
me, and I just kind of found myself doing it. Um, so I don't know. But I definitely think that uh, people need to start speaking up in public. And I get it. It's a terrifying thing to get into open conflicts with people.
Mhm.
And it's probably even more scarier thing to be in conflict when you when you're surrounded by
Right.
raging mob. I totally get it. Um, but I think that there needs to be more public proclamation of the gospel, of challenging the evils of our day. And so I don't know what that would look like if I do it in the future, or how I would go about doing it. But I'm not opposed. This has not dissuaded me from doing it again.
Right. Would you maybe even take a group of guys with you to do it together as a team? We're gonna all do this. We're gonna all
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. And then especially if I could have like a shield of men
ah,
around
build
me,
a shield wall.
a shield wall
Yeah.
to protect me,
Well, and I
from
saw the video. That's one thing I was wondering. Is like, is he literally there all by himself? Like, where's his elders? Where's the rest of what's going on? So
yeah, there was one man who stepped in at one point to like try to protect me.
yeah,
And then he eventually kind of also just got like pushed out of the way.
yeah.
And so it was it was wild.
Wow.
It was wild, man.
There you go. So this is going to be happening in other states. Roe v. Wade is gone. You've got a push in many states. Sadly, not our state. I wish Virginia would get on the ball. But we tend to, when it comes to general elections, go pretty blue. We've got a Republican governor right now. We'll see if that holds. But many
Yeah,
states are
didn't the last governor of Virginia have some statement that he was on like a show or something like that, and he was advocating like abortion up to birth?
I think he was advocating even a little after birth, because
Even after birth.
Ralph Northam was the one that said,
Yeah.
something like, she has the baby and then we put the baby in a room and then we can have the conversation
And then
about
we
whether
can have the
to abort.
conversation. That's right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So he was even after birth
Oh
abortion.
my gosh.
Crazy.
Wickedness, man.
Crazy stuff. So this is going to happen other places. I think we're going to see this sort of thing happen, because everywhere you see abortion being challenged, you get the ghouls and the orcs coming out to defend. If you're really thinking in those, I mean, it's really good versus evil, right? That's
That's
what we're
right.
dealing with. It's not a tricky matter of policy, and people want to make abortion hard. It's not hard. Intentionally
Right.
killing innocent people is murder. Abortion intentionally kills an innocent person. That's really all there is to it. And it's
Right.
not a hard situation.
Yeah. Even in the heartbeat bill, there is all the exceptions put in there
Mhm.
that all the left wants, right? So in the
Right.
case of rape or deformity, or
Mhm.
great poverty, or incest, and like all the things that they want have four exceptions. And it's not good enough for them,
Right.
right? So what does that tell you? It tells you that these people don't actually want abortion safe and rare, like as it once was
That was the
advocated.
90s.
Right,
That's
that
a
was the
long time ago.
90s, right? Safe and rare, right? No, it's used as a form of birth control.
Mhm.
And so I'd be happy to see, all the exceptions pulled out, and abortion made completely, abolished, right? I'm not an abolitionist,
Mhm.
but I greatly appreciate them and have great sympathy for them, and feel
Right.
that a lot of their work actually is helping to push the Overton window concerning abortion, so to say, in the correct direction. So
Right. And abolition is our ultimate goal. Whether you're an
absolutely.
abolitionist or a gradualist, your ultimate goal is we want it gone forever. We
Absolutely.
don't want it safe and rare. So
That's right. That's right. That's right.
all right.
Yeah,
Well, Michael,
actually, so
go ahead.
I was just gonna say is that there was even a woman there who was selling jewelry and it was coat hanger jewelry, right? Coat hanger jewelry,
Yeah.
and she had a sign, and it had a coat hanger on it, and it looked like it was splattered with blood, so red paint all over it, and it says, "We will not go back." And it's like, wow, these are the lengths that you're going to go. You're just going to have coat hanger abortions and
Yeah.
and I don't know, it was the evil that I saw there was amazing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And like I said, we're going to probably see more of it. So I think you're a
absolutely.
good example to give us a start for what are other pastors going to face, what other churches going to face when they go to these sorts of events. I think it's good to see. So, well,
Yeah.
Michael, I'm glad that you came here with us today and talked to us, and pray for your church to continue to go well. Glad everything is fairly normal there now. And I hope that your congregation has been encouraged by this. I hope it's been something that has been helpful for them as Christians to see their pastor in the arena. So,
Yeah, I have a great church. They are all really supportive of me, and I just am so blessed to be at the church that I am, with my elders, with my congregation. It's a wonderful time. Um, so I thank God. I thank God for this, and so I kind of laugh at the hate mail that I've been receiving about these people who say like you're gonna lose your job. And I'm like,
not in the CREC, you
no,
won't.
no, no, I'm not.
That's the other sort of Presbyterians.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Michael, it's great to have you here, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, Rick. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.